Hello and welcome to this live stream. Well, this is not a tutorial. This is more like a development stream, I would say. So feel free to ask questions. Meanwhile, I'm working through my current project, or actually maybe I'm gonna work on several different ones. So once again, this is just a live stream of me doing stuff. So currently I got a request of how to create a UNO game or UNO game. So this is a card game where you're gonna have to place your cards onto other cards, of course, and who has one card left and needs to actually press a button to say, okay, I'm almost done, so I have to tell this. Otherwise, if I'm not doing this, I'm gonna need to draw another card. So, and what I worked on at the moment already is these records, and I'm gonna continue this one. So this live stream is more or less only working in Inkscape. So if you are interested into Inkscape, you are absolutely able to tune in, download this one. So it's complete free, actually, yeah, a complete free software you can make use of. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do here. So this is not going to be too much in detail about the tutorial, as I already said before. So this is just, once again, me doing stuff. And maybe if you want me to explain things around, then of course feel free to, request them inside the chat. Otherwise, well, yeah, go and just to check out what I'm going to do over here. So I'm not going to explain too much, since you can always go and check it out on your own. So what I need is a card deck, in this case for numbers are from 0 to 9 at first in 4 different colors. So that's what I'm going to create at first. And since I have these set up here already, I'm gonna just make sure that I copy and paste all these forms. And if you have any questions at all, or if you want to learn Inkscape a bit more, there's a course in the description linked where you are going to go from start to finish, do through several things and tools you are gonna explain in this course. So if you want to learn Inkscape, I recommend go and take this course so far. Also, if you are interested into getting some live coaching where I'm gonna teach you whatever you want to learn about making games and stuff like that, you can always go to my website octomangames.com and just check it out. Also, there should be a link in the description below. Otherwise, this is my URL. And once again, I just go and do stuff over here. So once again, just like a live stream about development things. So I'm not interested into too much details once again over here, and I'm not actually explaining too much over there. So I just work on that stuff. So if you wonder how to do this, you can actually, hey, hi, a role. I believe you were the guy requesting, So this is more or less um, this is more or less the work I'm going to do. So um that's what it is about. It's for the UNO game, but for the moment I'm going and cover more or less how to create the cards, or actually I need to do the pre-work for you, since you were the one who was requesting that. Thanks a lot. I actually like that you like my courses, of course, and I'm glad you like them as well. So once again, if you are working on card games like that, you're gonna go over design and do your own decisions. Probably a role you're gonna go and already start to create your own card design. As you can see, I'm designing them already over here because since I have to do the complete pre-work before I can actually create a course, that's why I'm gonna go over here and just do that work for, for the sake of, yeah, that I have something I can work with. So if you other guys which are currently working or looking at this live stream, feel free to ask questions. Meanwhile, I go and just do my stuff over here to prepare everything for the course. So once again, I'm in Inkscape over here. This is a rather simple vector design stuff or graphics program where you can just literally go in and change graphics or create your own vector graphics with clean design. It doesn't really matter in which size you're going to create stuff, because these are vector graphics. They are 100% scalable in each direction, and you can export them in a rather high quality and high resolution later on. So once again, I just yeah, started to do the design over here, and I go forward. And once again, if you are, yeah, if you like to work on some card game like then you are absolutely able to, yeah, create all the cards over here. Once again, this is not a tutorial over here. This is just me showing you how I do my stuff, how I work, and how I go through, like content, which is actually required for different games. Again, if you have any questions, meanwhile I'm streaming over here, feel free to ask. I try to answer them as best as possible. So now I have a rather complete card deck just with these cards, like from 0 to 9. I created my own design for these cards. You can always go and do the same stuff with on your own, like create your very own design. I also saw some videos as well as some yeah, templates where actually all these cards are rather printable, I would say. The downside on these graphics is most of the time you don't have anything in between those cards, so you cannot make them, yeah, make use of them directly in Unity because you cannot use the auto cutting or auto cutout tool. Same for rounded borders. If you are interested into rounded borders, you are better to go and do all the content and all the graphic creation before you actually go to Unity. So, and what we need is some special cards for the red one here as well. It's like these flip arrows, like when you gonna change the direction of the game, like vice versa, then you're gonna need an arrow symbol sign. I'm not quite sure how it is looking in the original one, but I would just do the same as I did before. I just copy one card and bring this over here. Later on, I go and do the tinting. So I'm gonna get rid of these erase ones or of the zeros. Probably I don't need this because this is a, let's say, special card. And the color is going to stay the same in this case. And I just now go and create some, flip arrows. I believe that's what they called. I don't know. So how could I do this? Well, actually, I can just snap two positions over here and can do some, I don't know, some fancy design. I prefer, so nobody is telling you how you're gonna do all that stuff. So actually, not a deal at all. Maybe I can, maybe it's not going to look in the original one, but it doesn't matter since we don't want to copy as a game developer. You probably don't want to copy things you already have seen. You maybe want to go into that and create your very own design so nobody can tell, oh, you were stealing my idea or, stuff like that. So if you find this in any way helpful, just leave a comment down below in the description, in the comments if you like to, or just write in the chat if you have any ideas or stuff like that. Or how do you design your games? How do you go and create all that content you need for your games? And maybe you got some tips and tricks for the other guys which are currently working this one, or actually, yeah, checking out this current, yeah, live stream over here. So I'm gonna duplicate this, and maybe I do a flip flop like this, and maybe I bring this down just some bit. So I gonna, no, that doesn't look cool. So maybe I don't do this rounder stuff. I'm gonna undo all of that, and maybe I just leave them rather flat, and maybe just round these two things over here because it's the top just didn't look quite nice. So I just do some rounding stuff over here. I don't know. So gonna give it another color once again. Well, doesn't look really nice. However, it doesn't really matter. As long as it fits your style or fits the things you're gonna need here, then you're absolutely good to go. Let's see if that looks a bit better. Well, not too shabby at all, I guess. So maybe I'm gonna bring them next to each other, so they're gonna look more like a flipping symbol. Once again, you can do all the designs on your own, however you like them. And maybe this is not a bad symbol at all. Maybe I'm gonna need to increase the design on this special keys or special cards, like maybe making this square a bit bigger, or I'm gonna rotate these symbols quite a bit. I just want to keep the original direction anyhow. Gonna try to bring it down. Once again, this is more a dev stream. If you just came into the stream, make sure or actually you don't need to wait something for me, like explain much stuff, except you have any questions, of course, feel free to ask them. So what we're gonna need also is some draw cards, like, okay, this draw card need to be something like a +2 and a +4 card, I would say. So maybe I gonna take any numbered card first. Maybe I gonna take the 2 because I got this already. And like here, and maybe I gonna mark the special cards later on a bit different. I don't know yet. Maybe I'm gonna make them black, but black always means that we gonna, can put them anywhere. And we don't want to have this like anywhere. But maybe I'm gonna make the colors different so people know that's the wrong side. It's to be over here because it's flipped. And bring this inside over here, and also this one needs a plus, so that is going to be a draw card. So draw +2. Whenever somebody is going to bring this into game or onto the stack, that people are not going to think this is going to be something weird. Okay, so I need a +4 card, which probably has the possibility to be bring or brought onto other cards. I don't know. So I'm gonna copy this again. Maybe gonna make this one black. Maybe this like this +4 card, since +4 in this particular case might be some like a Joker overpowered number, something like that. I don't know. Once again, these are going to be design decisions. You as a game developer, if you want to be one or if you currently are one already, you have to decide all that things on your own. So you are completely responsible for all your work, for everything you are working on. This is what you as a game developer are responsible for. So let's see how that does it look if I make this one a black card, and maybe I can make some circles like more that this is going to be fitting on multiple cards, something like that. I don't know. So maybe I can make some rainbow symbol or circle. I don't know, and make it so that this is not just fitting on a red card, but maybe on everything. Like, like I gonna put all of that into a black space. Maybe I gonna make some symbol anywhere. Maybe I gonna make these. Let me just copy that and check it out. So maybe I gonna split this into 4 pieces and make it like, four tint or like 4 color tinted. Maybe gonna put the symbol anywhere here in the empty spaces as well. Doesn't really matter, since I can do this like anyhow I like. So how can I split this? I don't know, maybe gonna cut it away and see what's going on. And I just need to be rather precise in the location, I would say. So I can do a splitting like that, maybe. And I would guess I need to convert this one into a pass first. So I'm gonna have these pass points instead of the shape over there. So in that particular case, I would be able to, where is it? Object to pass. So I got these pivot points, or these, Bezier curve points. And then I just make a rather simple difference. So I have this cut it away already. And now I can create another one, which is hopefully later on sitting on the correct spot. Maybe this is going to be a bit bigger. You can be way more precise as I do. Once again, nothing fancy over here. Well, once again, this is not a tutorial. This is more like a dev stream. What I'm currently working on, and how stuff is going to probably work. So now I have this piece and I can tint this like a red. Then what I can do is I can duplicate this, flip it over to the other side, and make sure that I angle or snap that thing, like this piece, like over here to the bottom, and I can tint this maybe yellow. See, and now I can do and duplicate these and flip them both downwards and just give it I don't know what are the colors. Maybe something like that. Maybe more like this. And so now I have my very own representation of this little white quad. I can also shrink this down so I have a small border around it if I like to. And I can just, group this thing and maybe duplicate it just in case and bring this somewhere here where the original ones are going to be. And I just make sure that I bring this downwards, but the 4 is sadly not good seen, so probably I'm gonna put this into a white color with a black border onto the top of that. So gonna do the same over here and take this one and bring it over here. It's like where this is going to be for the Joker later on as well, for the wishing card. So something like that. See, doesn't look too shabby, I guess. So and probably I can get rid of the white stuff behind it as well, but later on export, this is actually not visible. So I don't really care, I guess. So we're gonna have this, since this is a special card already, which is not based on the red card over there. I just need to create this design once. Same for the other special cards. Probably I'm gonna bring this over here next or like below my backside of my deck. And now I can just create the other special card, which is the wishing card. So basically I duplicate this once again, bring this a bit down to have some more space. Also always leave some space in between so you can later on do and make use of the auto cutting stuff in Unity directly. And since I grouped this one, I'm gonna get rid of the 4 numbers over here. I can make this a wishing card, like, I don't know, I maybe duplicate this, bring this somewhere here, maybe deactivate snap for a sec, and maybe I'm gonna go and bring this up quite some bit, so I don't know, maybe it looks good. Doesn't really matter, I guess. Well, yeah, why not? So later on in the game, you just need to explain the cards to the players, of course, because you are the game developer and you are the only one who actually knows these cards. And so you're gonna have your own representation of the card. I currently wonder if I missed any other special card for this style game. So if you know which one I'm missing, if there is any, well, then just feel free to, yeah, let me know. What I now would do is I just take everything I have created so far, like this flip-flop or whatever. Oh yeah, there's one. I missed one. This is going to be the card where somebody is not able to make a turn. Like the next player is, whatever the player is, he is going to do or is not allowed to do a turn. Something like maybe with an exclamation mark again, or like this symbol over here, and not the next. I don't know this one. So this is more like a stop card. Well, maybe gonna do a stop sign instead, or something like a parking symbol. Maybe that's a better one. I don't know. So once again, you can design like everything on your own, however you like to do stuff. I'm gonna duplicate these and bring them now like next to each other so I can cut away pieces over there and later on combine another one like a rectangle inside of that. I don't know where the align tools are. There we go. So I would just do a rather quick difference shape over here and then just bring a rectangle over there. Arrows in a flip-flop card can be different colors. Sure. I mean, you are allowed to design your own game, right? So, and these flip-flop cards, I guess they gonna be a different card. So you can only have one yellow, one blue, one red, and one something. I mean, I believe there are several hundred possibilities to play the game or actually design the cards over there. So once again, you as a developer, you are the one who is designing the game, and it's not somebody else. So you're gonna make your own rules in this particular case. Same for the stop cards. These stop cards are going to be, I guess, the ones which have colors as well. Once again, you can Google the complete UNO deck if you don't know. And maybe we're gonna do something like this. I'm not quite sure if I need another one like over here in the top, but this is a colored card as well. And since I don't have this flip-flops like some things here, then you're gonna be able to put these symbols also over there, but I don't think that is going to be necessary. Once again, you can also use something like with this symbol, if you have any idea about it. I'm not quite sure if there was something. Maybe I just missed one extra card here. Well, and that's basically, I guess, everything we need for that. So we have a +4, we have a wishing card, we have a backside of our deck, which we can design into all our needs once again, as well as all the numbers between 0 and 9, as well as the flip-flop, the drag 2 card, and the card where somebody is not allowed to do a move. And if you're happy with that and you're gonna have, you designed your own stuff over there, then you can just duplicate that and do all the other colors rather simple. So I do the same. I just say duplicate, Control D, as always, or almost always, depends on the program, of course. Then I'm gonna do select all these, everything which has these colors, and I, for example, go and select the yellow one. This one should be white. This yellow is a bit bad since it is quite, I don't know, it's rather bright. Maybe I'm gonna find a more orange style tone or a bit darker one. Yeah, it looks a bit better. So maybe the darker tone is going to be a bit better for the eyes, as you always want to make sure that the players are not running away when they are seeing too bright colors and something like that. So keep that in mind. So, and you don't get any problems with your eyes later on, of course, by, while you see that cards. Of course, they will never be that big, but still, colors are important in game design. So whenever you do your designs and stuff like that, always keep in mind that other people's may or may not be able to see the difference of the colors, as well as may or may not have problems with their eyes already. And so we want to make sure they are not running away. Good. So that's everything so far. So now I'm gonna do the selection of these parts and make them all yellow at the first place. Of course, this is going to be some work you always need to do. So design your game properly and do all your pre-work for everything you need to do over there. So gonna tint the rest of these as well. Just want to make sure I have everything completed before I go over to Unity and scratch my head how could I actually do the design for this game. By the way, save often. If your computer is crashing, you're gonna have to do everything once again. So I'm gonna do a save in just a moment, but not at that particular moment. I duplicate these cards once again and see if I can take all the yellow colors and make them green or blue at the next point. So once again, you see this is quite some work you have to do, but it is rather important that you're gonna invest time into design because people they want to have some clean design over here. So yeah, scratch your head around it and see how you can fit the needs of the player. Make use of rather good scene colors with high contrast, I guess, but also yeah, make sure that they are not too bright, and sometimes colors might be a bit darker, but in the end it will turn out quite good, I guess. So if you want to learn once again how to work with Inkscape, there is a course tutorial linked in the description down below, so feel free to check this one out. And if you don't like to do that, well, then just keep on trying. And there are also some other courses linked below in the description, like how to create a Ludo, for example, or how to create a memory game if you are interested into that, as well as several other games or actually courses I was developing beforehand, like a 3D Match 3 game, for example, and so on and so forth. And if you want to hit me up, or actually if you want to meet me like on a live session, you're absolutely able to hire me. And just once again, go to my website, octomangames.com, and feel free to yeah, book a coaching with me if you need some specific help for your game or anything else. The prices are going to be on the website as well. And finally, I'm gonna go and do the, I believe, green color, which is going to be a bit darker color. I guess I took this one. So I'm gonna try that out. Well, yeah, looks good. So I can do all of that stuff over here as well. Gonna make sure that I tint them all. As you can see, stuff takes time. You will become better and faster in cases of game development whenever you have the knowledge about all the programs, and as well as how you want to go into later on. If you know where you are going to, like when you want to start with a small game, a big game, well, I always can just tell you create only small games which you are able to perform or create or let's say finish up in like, I don't know, a week maximum. I mean, based on your skills, that might be much or might be not too much. Uh, but once again, this is important that you gonna start with rather small projects and get your, yeah, wrap your head around all the use cases as well as what do you need to actually, yeah, understand and what do you need to work on. So now I'm gonna make a small break and drink a cup of coffee or just a small one. So as you can see, my designs are rather complete. I have all these flip-flop cards. I have the yeah, +2 cards as well as the stop symbol one, so the next player is not able to move at this point. This is my the deck backside, like how the deck is going to look. This is a +4, which can be brought onto any of these cards. This one is going to be my wish card. So I can wish any color, which I'm able to choose later on, maybe inside Unity. And now I can think about what kind of different things do I maybe need as well. Maybe I need this little color field in Unity later on as well. What does it mean is all these graphics we have created are probably not enough. Maybe we're gonna need some button where we can click on, for example. So I'm gonna go and save first. I try to at least. Gonna bring this over here and I'm gonna bring this. I don't have a project yet, but I want to make sure that I yeah, save this as an SVG file. So I have always the scalable vector graphic on hand, so I can always change things, change resolution if I like to, change design and all that other stuff. So I'm gonna name this maybe UNO set or something. Once again, doesn't really matter. And I make sure that I save this one. So I can now work even more on things I may need. So I guess I probably need this. Hi, Troopins. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Do you have any questions? Feel free to ask. So I guess I'm gonna need this color field over here. And I'm not quite sure if I need any other inputs for the game. So probably I'm gonna create a button, which is going to give me the possibility to design or actually get to click on, like a, yeah, just a simple like which we are going to, you have to click as a player when you have your last card on hand, or basically two cards, because once you click on this button, you're gonna go into the next yeah, step basically, and the computer is going to do or going to have the next step because you only have one card left after you were able to bring out one. So you need to take care of that as well. And how would I create a button? Well, you want to always fit your design as well as you want to make sure that it is gladly or goodly visible. Maybe you have some user interface which you have in mind already, like maybe some glass-like buttons or something like that. Also, you might want to make it a different color to highlight it a bit more. There are hundreds of possibilities to do this. Maybe I'm gonna start with something in blue, and maybe I'm gonna, do some changes here and there. Doesn't really matter for me. So, but for you it should, since you want to make sure that everything looks how you like it to be able, or how you want this to be. So I'm gonna type in like with an exclamation mark behind it, and maybe bring this over here, maybe in the size I would like to see the button. Once again, this is going to be the one which you need to press whenever whenever you are, like whenever you only have one card left after you were, lying one onto the field. So, and how can I design this even better? Well, I can use some gradients over here and do some, let's say, light effects onto that as well. So maybe I'm gonna take this one and make another shape here. I'm gonna get rid of the border, maybe make it white, and later on I go into some transparency values. Like when I do here, there is this opacity slider, and with that I can enter even more like light up or whatever effects I want to have on the button. Maybe I'm gonna go over here and create a gradient, like something like top to bottom or bottom to top. And maybe I not go full alpha over here, but maybe I'm gonna change the color on the bottom as well as on the top. I don't know. You need to play around with these and see if they are fitting your needs. You can also use some buttonized things. Maybe I'm gonna highlight this text a bit better. Maybe not that color, but maybe something a bit brighter. So let's see. Something like that, but it looks anyhow a bit transparent, so maybe I need to bring something behind it or highlight it anyhow even more. Once again, these are design decisions you're gonna have to do on your complete own. You are responsible for your work and for your games and all the other stuff. So doesn't look too bad. Anyhow, I don't like the border around it. Maybe I'm gonna bring another border, an extra border, which has a flipped gradient. So gonna bring this down, and maybe I'm gonna take the gradient of that and change it around, something like that. I make it straight downwards, and so I'm gonna get a like buttonized effect, like with a yeah, not too bad. Shading over here. So once again, all completely up to you. Maybe I don't like this. Maybe I'm gonna make some circles, white circles. Maybe not with that low opacity, but maybe with some blur. Gonna make it full white, blurred out a bit, so the border is a bit blurred, but maybe a bit more transparency. I don't know. Once again, you need to decide all of that on your complete own. You are responsible for that, always. Once again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I just tell you what I'm currently doing. Once again, this is not a tutorial. This is just a stream, me doing things. Maybe that is not a bad button. I guess that's rather okay-ish. Maybe I can make this one even. Well, let's see what's going to happen when I make it darker or brighter. Maybe I'm gonna make a border around it. Oh no, that border doesn't look good. Maybe I can also put a gradient onto this. Maybe I'm gonna give it a bit slight one. Well, maybe I'm gonna make a shadow behind that. That's maybe not a bad idea. So I'm gonna duplicate this and make it a bit bigger. And nope, that was the wrong button. Make it just a bigger flat black area over here. And maybe I can scale around here a bit there, here and there. Once again, you are responsible for your graphics, so I make them nice. Not too bad, I would say. I could also go and make even that border a bit, blurry. Something like that. So it's sticking out a bit more. Not a shabby one. So, and now I'm gonna have my button. I have the color changer, which I later on need to define. Like whenever I click on one of these colors, I want to make sure that the actual play time or the actual play color is going to be changed as well. Now we need an indicator. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna save, of course. Like always hit Control S if you have done something. What I need is maybe an indicator. What's the current color which is requested from or on the game itself? So meaning we maybe have. Let me try to explain what I mean. Let's assume we're gonna have this card. I'm gonna duplicate this, and maybe we're gonna have another card which is like lying over it, something like that. So that is basically you know already that this is going to be a red card, you as a player. But the thing is, you don't have to, make some kind of an indicator around the playfield. So maybe you can, make a representation of the playfield's color in this case. So what I mean by that is I can make something like 2 or 5 something. Gonna make opacity higher, and this one might be white later on, so you can tint this. You can tint this with the actual color of the board. You can also make this one a gradient or a bit blurry, so the blur later on will also be inside the game or visible inside the game. When will this tutorial be on Udemy? I don't know. As you can see, I started to work on this, and probably it takes, I don't know, maybe a week, maybe two, depends on how fast I am able to, create the complete course in this case. Since I go and probably offer the complete card deck, I'm not quite sure yet. Maybe I'm gonna teach you how this is working as well in the Udemy course. But I hope I can get this one done, yeah, rather quick, I would say. So, and this can also be later on be used for as an indicator who is the active player or the current active player. You can also make use of course, squares and stuff like that. Just make a single square. You can put some images inside that. So if you are developing things, you might want to think about how can I make my game look good or better than probably other ones. So this might be the player image or just a border for a player image. And it doesn't need to be, like blurry as this one, but you can do this. You are once again 100% responsible for everything you're gonna create over here. And so with all that design thing, you can now also think about how can you create a holder for the cards. Like everybody, like every computer or every player, maybe has some kind of a board or something where these cards are going to be on. It's not necessary, but it is a graphical interpretation, or actually any graphical thing you can implement here as well. How do you test, by the way, if your design is going to work? Is rather simple, or like all the sizes are correct. You can do all of that directly in Inkscape as well. For example, I can do some duplicates over here, and I can already think about, okay, when I would like overlay these things, like overlay this here and overlay this over here, and maybe I'll also draw out another one or two blue cards maybe over here, and I bring them. I'm gonna undo this one pretty quick and do another one. Just copy. I just need to make sure that everything I want to copy is inside except this 2 over here, and duplicate again, Control D. What I want to say is you can always test your complete cards and design and stuff like that. If you put these cards onto or in game, you maybe want to have something where these cards are being on, like something which is going to be, like your cardboard or something. It doesn't matter about colors. You want to make sure that you test things out first before you go further and see how big would this be. Maybe something like that. So you can bring all these cards over there. Maybe it's not big enough. So you can always go and make it bigger or smaller. And you can also do this directly in Unity later on, like the design for the board itself. So meaning you basically have just a square and then you just duplicate the square, or basically tile the square in with using these, I don't know how they're called, um, the tiling directly on images. So I guess that's what I would do in here. And since I can later on also define how these cards or how these borders are going to be, yeah, how they look. So when I duplicate like this one over here, I can easily use this to put my cards on by just scaling this up and make sure I tile this correctly, like with 9 sliced option, I guess it's called. So what I can do is I can make a border whatever color I want to. For example, I make this border black, but the inside, I can make this one white. And when I do this white, in the image settings later on, I can tint every white colors. I just can't do it with pure black. I can basically do from a specific grayscale up to any color can be over tinted by any other color. So white will be tinted to be red if you change the image color to be red. So just keep that in mind and always, once again, bring all that stuff white into your game, or in this case, bring it so in your game that you're absolutely able to manipulate everything and you don't have to go always into your graphics and change around things, even if you can. So I guess that's more than enough we need for a card deck. The size over here might be good, might be bad. You're gonna see this later on whenever you bring all that stuff into Unity. And now the final step is just exporting all that stuff. Make sure, once again, everything has a square around it, so you have quite some space to cut out all these cards, cut out all these buttons, and especially when you're working with circles, make sure that nothing is overlaying these corners, because Unity doesn't know that, and it would automatically, for example, if we would, let me explain this with this thing, if I would put it here, and this circle, as you can see, these little dashed lines over here are overlaying this, you know, this shape over there. So whenever you do the auto cutting, this shape would always be inside this, and so that is going to be a major problem. Same if you would have this one inside over here, it would be inside this complete part as well. Even if you have a single one later on here as well. So make sure that everything is correctly set up so you can completely export it to your needs and so on. So, and if you have that done, you once again want to make sure that you save everything. If you have any graphics you want to do for faces, like when you want to represent different players or they can choose an icon or something like that, you can also put this directly into the card deck, or you're gonna later on create your, a character deck where you can, or a character creator, something like that, where you can just stitch together things like how you want to customize your character which you're playing with, even if it doesn't really matter in the long run because you just want to play, right? So, and maybe I'm gonna have one more thing I want to create over here is going to be, just in case, a circle with a black border, just in case. And maybe I'm gonna duplicate this one. Well, nope. I guess I create another circle over here and make this one a white border and an empty circle. So once again, just make sure you have a lot of content you can later on work with. So it is important that you are prepared for all your work you have done so far. Okay, cool. So that's basically everything you need to put in. So I can go and export this one rather simple and make a PNG file out of it and then just bring all the content completely into Unity, not Udemy. That's where my courses are going to be. So you go just export PNG and then you just say, okay, where do you want to export this? Bring it into anything and make sure that you're gonna go with the selection over there and make sure that the width of that is rather high or high enough, I would say. So let's assume based on quality, because on export you want to keep a good quality over there, you might want to make sure that one of these cards is about 500 pixels high, plus minus a bit, depends on where you want to bring this graphics on later. So I would say this complete height over here, well, including these parts, should be somewhere around 2000, I would say, plus minus a bit. If the quality is too bad, that later on export and you drag these stuff to Unity, then of course make sure you increase the height. As you can see, everything is now about width on my side. Doesn't really matter, but for you, you just need to take care of that. Maybe I'm gonna make something like 2500 in the height, so the width is automatically changing it because or itself because I took the selection, and now I can just this export the complete package to wherever I like to. So I'm gonna do this on my other monitor. If you have the possibility to work with two monitors, that would be a good thing overall. So let's see if I can bring this anyhow into my project directly so I can check out if the quality is high enough, and you can see this as well. I believe I just created somewhere a project for that. Give me a second, takes a moment. There's a file. There are some scenes. Okay, so I'm gonna name this one something like Atlas. So I can actually, I do know what's going on over here, and I press save, and then I need to go and export the complete package, or actually the complete graphics as I've done before. Good, and basically now you can go to your Unity project. Currently, I have several different ones I'm working with. Over here, it's 2K19, nothing fancy, but as you can see, it automatically does the work for me. It says, okay, it's a sprite to the UI one, it's a sprite mode single, so we need to go and set this one to multiple. And the next one is we're gonna need to actually, what do we need to do? We need to open the sprite editor. Of course, we need to apply the changes. And once the sprite editor is open, we can take a look into this by holding down control key. We can zoom in. No, we don't even need to hold it. And as you can see, even little text pieces over here are, well, the quality is, well, rather pixelated. So as you can see, even my button looks a bit pixelated. I'm not quite sure if there is something going on over here in Unity directly. So each card is probably a bit too small to keep um, to keep or keep track of the quality. So, but I want to still check this out. Maybe there is some yeah, down, I don't know, something going on here which is going to compress the graphics. So that's what you always need to check. And I go to slice, say automatic slicing, and just slice everything. And we should end up with a couple of several different slices over here once it is done. Once again, sometimes things take time. As you can see, it's sliced automatically now around all these cards because we took care of that beforehand, that we're gonna have some empty spaces over here. We can also check if something is wrong or not. There's something going on with this one. I believe I'm gonna bring this up over here because that doesn't look correct otherwise. And these do look okay-ish, even if they are not 100% as they should be. Maybe I'm gonna go and change some things around, like the sizes of these as well. Same here, just in case. Keep on going with them. Make sure they fit 100%. Maybe that's a Unity problem. I don't know. We will see that later on when we are done with all that exporting stuff. So I'm gonna apply the changes now and drag at least one card just in case my into my I don't know, canvas or something. So I'm gonna go and create a canvas pretty quick so I can see how the graphic quality is really in the long run. So I would just go and put an image, and I can now add a sprite. And since we just cut it away all the sprites from different cards, you can see even here it is rather blurry. I want to make sure that this card, however blurry it might be, is still looking good. So I want to make sure that this is not, or actually preserving aspect ratio. And even here, it looks okay. The size of a card might be something like that. So if you can, you should always go and check this out later on here in the game view. But quality matters, at least for the moment. We need to make sure that everything looks good. Okay, so when I now go and beforehand, I need to change the canvas pretty quick to be a scale screen size. And I need to rescale this card again. And when I now go maximize on play and press play, I want to make sure that I can read the card clear and the quality is high enough. Let's see how that looks. Well, as you can see, it is a rather fuzzy quality, so I believe I'm gonna do another export in Inkscape. So, meaning 2500 in height is maybe not a good one. So maybe I'm gonna make a something like 3500 in height. Of course, the width is rather high, but for me at the moment doesn't matter. And I just over export it. I'm gonna replace the graphic right now. Once again, always a super important thing over here when you're working with different programs and stuff like that. What you also will see instantly, this will change because the cutouts or everything over here is not going to be, as it has to be. Meaning we need to go into the sprite editor once again and get rid of all these things. Well, I hope that works. If not, I'm gonna try to re-automate that. Delete existing, yes. And I reslice them. Maybe I'm gonna have some better and more precise cards in the end. It takes quite some time, once again, since that are over 60 cards or something. And Unity is doing a quite good job already over here. So when I zoom in over there and select one of these, that looks even better. Yeah, at least a bit. But as you can see, it still has some rather, has some problems still. And once again, you can always go higher with quality. Even that does not look nice. The button is like speckled. Well, maybe there's some compression going on we might want to take a look into. And maybe it's has something to do with maps or something. Or maybe the alpha's transparency sRGB. No, it does not have any of that. Maybe the mesh type or the extrude meshes. No, I don't know. Maybe there's some filter. Maybe we can do some bilinear filtering instead of. Let's see what's going on with that. Apply. And maybe the maximum size is going to be the one which is responsible for that. So maybe we can beef that up to 4000 and something. And maybe we're gonna see a graphic change directly over here whenever it's done with the compression or recompression. Yeah, that looks good. So I'm gonna apply Mitchell once again. And once again, I check out what the quality of that is going to do over here. Looks not too shabby. Let's press play and see how the card is finally looking right now. Yeah, not too bad. I mean, at least the corners and all the, the little pixels are not too much pixelated anymore. Probably we're gonna beef it up even higher. Let's just check it out. Maybe it's the graphic, maybe it's the image, maybe it's the automatic format, maybe it's the compression over here. All of that things are rather interesting in case of, for us later on how big we need to export all the graphics. But the cool thing is we only have one graphic, like one texture atlas where everything is on. Wow, that looks nice. Look at that. Awesome. That's nice. Now we have the quality we need. Yeah, that's even too sharp right now, so it starts to pixelate from the camera view. But well, that's not a big, actually not a problem. Hey Andy, thanks a lot for tuning in. And as you can see, when I scale this one up now, this is looking rather good. Has a clean, clean outline over here. Pretty decent quality in that cases. And as you can see, we can make use of that. So that basically is everything you need to take care of when you start creating your own games. Check if qualities of your graphics are going to be good. Maybe you want to go and check the button out as well, so we can create a button like this one. And I'm gonna see where the sprite is going to be, like this over here. You can see it's scaled horrendously, but I want to preserve the the aspect ratio on that. I'm gonna get rid of the text because we don't need this, as well as we wanna make sure that is fitting 100%. As we want this, we can scale this up and down, left and right, stuff like that, and we can place this wherever we want to lay it on our playfield, as well as we should be able to, whenever it is somewhere, we should be able to click on this. So we should see a direct interpretation or any feedback whenever we click on this. So you can see it changes the tint quite a bit whenever I hover over here and do some tinting on that. So and I can also go and do another representation for that. But once again, this is just stuff we need to take care of later on. Like pressed color, we can go even with some, tint overlay with red or something. I don't know, and just play around with that however you like that. So you can see when I hold down now, it is just like flipping colors completely and making it a real good push if you want that. Doesn't matter at all, but for us it is important that the button looks good, that our graphics in the end are going to look good, as well as all the cards and stuff like that are going to look good here as well. And once you're happy with all of that, like when the designs and the sizes and all that stuff is going to work completely good for you, you can play around with the play field overall, and you can do some basic graphics setup already, like how do you want the play field to look, how big do you want the cards to be, how big do they need to be. I mean, that's maybe a more interesting one. How big do they need to be? There's one more thing I haven't done here, is this little lines under nines and sixes, but I guess it's not really necessary. I hope. I mean, no idea. And if you want to put these like these lines under that as well, no worries. Just go back to Inkscape and add them. And that's everything for the moment. So yeah, you can now go and create a prefab like from one of these images and work on that, make them clickable, all that stuff. And then we go into the actual game design, like, or actual programming part, because this is actually another thing where you want to take put your head around. If you want to have some backgrounds, by the way, you can also create them completely in Inkscape. I don't know what I would do with that, but maybe I don't know, some random quads or something, just a basic design, maybe something tileable, so I can just make a rather huge image like around over here. So like this size or something, it doesn't really matter, but I have something in the background to make it a bit more appealing, I would say. So, and that's basically my current dev stream is basically over. So once again, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the session, even if there's not much of a tutorial in it, more like how I do stuff and so on. But if you are interested into checking out some of my courses, feel free to go down into the description where all my tutorials on Udemy are linked below, as well as if you want to have some live coaching, like where I help you working on your games, feel free to go onto my website, OctoManGames.com. The link should be also down below in the description. And yeah, that's everything I can do so far for you or with you. So thanks a lot once again for tuning in. If you have any questions, feel free to ask as well. And that concludes my live stream for the moment. Once again, thanks a lot for tuning in. And I hope to see you guys in, well, one of my other videos, in my courses, or even maybe you're gonna send me a message where you want to get some live teaching. If you like to. So thanks a lot, and I hope to see you guys later. Bye bye.